Travis Wayne Goodsell. After doing the video about reminiscing my LDS mission with Sunday Jess, I really wanted to get that fashion plates by Tommy. So it's not Barbie fashion plates. It was the original vintage one before Barbie took it over. And Amazon doesn't sell it. They don't even know what it is. But I found it on eBay. Had to do a Google search for it. And I guess I'm paying eBay for it. But it doesn't have the colored pencils. So what? I can buy my own if I don't already have some. I'm pretty sure I have some. You can use regular pencils. You can do a black and white version. But yeah, I have to wait now because it's not Amazon. I have to wait until the Monday after conference. So next month, yeah, next Monday, not this Monday, but the Monday after. So I'm excited. And so, as I forgot to mention, among the list of required items for an LDS mission, for guys, they tell you that you have to wear conservative, dark-colored ties as well as suits. And so, my mom went through my clothing to pack to make sure that I was strictly obedient to the missionary rules. And she found my Paisley tie, pink Paisley tie. And she said, you can't take this. And I'm going, what? What do you mean? It's pink. You're supposed to have dark conservative colors. And then she says, your dad will like wearing this while you're away. She gave away my tie. My dad never had kept it. She didn't give it to my dad. It was gone. And I've since looked for it in my dad's tie collection, which is quite expansive. Lots and lots of ties. No pink Paisley tie. It's gone. She threw away my pink Paisley tie. I paid for that myself. And she just threw it away. And so, yeah. This was in the 80s. And in the 80s, there was a big homophobia across the land, and especially in the Mormon church. Here in Utah, I understand they were electrocuting guys who were coming out of the closet. Probably some who weren't, but just because the church was homophobic, zapped them too, I guess. I was in Southern California, and so it was by word of mouth to my parents down in Southern California. And this was right around the time when my uncle, my dad's younger brother, decided he was gay too. Yes, he decided he was gay. He was married to a Barbie doll wife, had 3 Barbie doll little girls, and he just up and said, yeah, I'm gay now, bye. Took off, left the family. So yes, my dad was pissed, went to argue about he's not gay, he's abandoning his family, I don't think the family proclamation, no family proclamation yet. Kimball had one, Benson had one, but not the official proclamation one. And Dad obviously lost the argument, as he went and lived with a guy and was manager of Blockbuster Video. And so my parents then assumed that somebody else is cooking, or am I smelling a fire? Or is it the smokers outside? It's gonna bug me now. Maybe it's the... No, not that. Anyway. You can hear the fan in the background. I got my fans for the summer, so I'm all set. Previous ones I got for last year's summer, that was a failed thing. The filters got dirty and you couldn't clean them. That's lame. I haven't even tried to see if I can buy separate filters replacements. So I got a regular fan now. It's doing very well. It's 70 degrees because the temperature gauge is blocked from the fan. So yeah, working very nicely. I'm kind of concerned about the Kleenex though. Don't know how that's gonna work. Gotta find a new place for Kleenex now, I guess, or put up a shield to keep them from blowing off. Anyway. And so my parents then believed that because my uncle was gay, that it's passed on through the DNA somehow or something, through uncle to nephew, and that I therefore was gay. You got to understand how severe the homophobic campaign was. Even in Southern California, psychologists were doing advertisements. If your son has these symptoms, and it used to be for depression, now all of a sudden it's for gay. It's gaydar for psychology. Psychology was anti-gay, and were hoping that they could round up a bunch of gays and shock them, electrocute them out from the gay, because turn it off doesn't work. If you've seen the Book of Mormon musical. And my uncle gave as his excuse that he didn't like working on the farm with Dad and Grandpa. And he preferred to stay at home with Grandma, doing cooking and cleaning. And that was his justification for identifying himself as gay. My peers in Southern California were all hyped up, thinking that outward appearance as well identified someone as gay. So if you listen to the gay boy bands, Depeche Mode, Flock of Seagulls, The Cure, Culture Club, all those guys. And I did. But I also listened to country. I also listened to heavy metal. I also listened to hard rock. Also listened to classical. Also listened to everything. Even reggae and not rap. Rap was banned on the radios back then, and so I didn't really get to hear any rap. But disco, I started listening to the radio after my dad gave me a hand-me-down as he upgraded his radio for his bed. And so I got his old radio, and he tuned it to the Dodger game station. And so that was awesome until I went to school that fall semester, and kids were talking about music. I'm going, there's music? And so, turns out, I had just missed disco. Disco had died right before I started listening to the radio, and was tuning around to find that was on the FM dial rather than the AM dial where the Dodger station was. My dad was purposely trying to distract me away from the music of the world. And as a result, I wasn't a part of any clique at school. Wasn't part of the country club, the hard rockers, smokers, the punks that were starting to emerge. All those different, everybody was clinging to one music group, and here I was by myself, having learned that there was such a thing as music, and then searching for it. And so I was flipping back and forth according to whatever song I liked on the radio, and so sometimes I would be on the hard rock station, sometimes classical, sometimes the soft, etc., etc. And the pop was emerging after disco died. I learned about disco from Xanadu, watching that movie one Saturday for the Saturday afternoon movie, and so became familiar with Olivia Newton-John. And my brother was turned away from the music of the world because he had found, or he had heard, Physical by Olivia Newton-John. And my brother went to Mom and said, "Oh, this is great, it teaches you to exercise." Well, my mom ruined him from all the worldly music by saying that has nothing to do with exercise, that's sex. Oh no, evil! I, however, liked the song, and that endeared me to that song because my mom told my brother not to listen to it. And so, you couldn't like pink as a guy, and I had to secretly have a pink Paisley tie. I couldn't wear it to church, couldn't wear it anywhere. I just had it, hoping one day I would be able to come out of the closet with it. And the origin of it is Beth. If you've heard my videos talking about Beth, I was an unwitting witness to a sexual assault on little kindergartner that I was walking to school with, Beth. And it was so terrifying as I watched her screaming in horror as the boys were just laughing. And I was helpless. I was in a state of shock. And because of that, I always was paying attention to her in school. I was always keeping an eye on her. And as I went into first grade, actually it was first grade, not kindergarten. Yeah, it was first grade. No? Yeah, it was first grade because we got to go into the jungle. So yeah, it was first grade. And so I moved away from Southern California, and so every school year I was always keeping my eye on the girls in my class, and of course selected the one I had a crush on because of that. And so my interests were in girls, what they did, what they thought, what they felt, and my mom, as we moved from Michigan to Placentia, California, one of the activities she would have us kids do around the kitchen table was doing collages when she got the new Sears catalog. And we would go through it and take out pictures, cut them up, and paste them onto, because we had glue, we didn't have tape yet, onto a piece of paper, and I make collages. And that's where I learned there's women's fashion in here. And so that's where my interest in wanting to be a woman's fashion designer came from. I'm just a little kid, and not yet in puberty, going into puberty, and as a Mormon boy, I had it instilled in me that for me as a boy, I can't have an interest in girls. You know, that's the weird results of being a Mormon in an extremely strict Mormon household. You know, let's get physical is evil. It's of the devil. Stay away, don't listen to it. My mom even told me to be careful about the music I listen to because they have lyrics in them that... Shall we go over your Elvis songs, Mom? Oh, well, no, she doesn't like the Elvis songs after he was a druggie. She doesn't know Elvis as a druggie. That Elvis does not exist for her. It's the Elvis of pure innocence that she grew up with and loved. And my mom is that way. She does not remember or doesn't talk about anything in my life past my puberty. Literally, I just got my birthday letter from her, and she goes back to my early childhood before puberty. I remember you liked chocolate cake. Yeah, before I hit puberty. I still like chocolate cake, but that's not my favorite. And so, yes, I had to stay in the closet about my desire for all things women. And I couldn't be seen cutting out the pictures of the women's fashions and doing a collage of women's fashions. Because my mom caught me one day. She comes rushing into my bedroom, goes through the drawer, and finds the women's fashion that I had been collecting in secret. Apparently she had found out that I was going through the trash and cutting out the women's fashion and hiding them, you know, like porn. You know, the Beastie Boys. Mom threw away my best porno mag. Well, my mom didn't throw them away. She just felt crushed that I was looking at porn from the Sears catalog. Not realizing she was the one who set that all up. She taught me to do that. And I didn't realize that I was supposed to hide them under the bed mattress. And so, yeah. When I would go up to EFY for BYU's EFY, especially for youth, during the summers, while my parents took off to visit other family members to do genealogy stuff, I was dropped off at EFY because boring. And so this was my first time interacting with Mormon girls, and boy was I scared. I had Laura Baker in Placentia, California, but she was dating Kevin. In second grade, she's dating Kevin. He's not Mormon. But, and so, yeah, I was too shy, because I had been horrified and shocked with what I witnessed with Beth. And so I could only watch women from a distance. And I was just too scared to talk because of the trauma I had gone through. And so when I started watching video rentals, I started selecting movies from the video store, because I had my own video rental, so that my dad doesn't know that I'm renting movies on his account. And as I looked back, after several years later, I realized I had a theme that was based on Beth. It was mostly Gwyneth Paltrow movies, her earlier stuff, before Shakespeare in Love, which Shakespeare in Love was the ultimate of the type of genre. That's why she was chosen for that role. And it's where the woman is abused and at the end overcomes the abuse. Those types of movies. And I realized that I also liked chick flicks. And even though I was in denial, I had to be in denial. I'm a man. And I can't like chick flicks. But once the first divorce occurred, all of a sudden I realized the meaning of chick flicks. The meaning of chick flicks, tell me the meaning of love, Depeche Mode. And guys were telling me in school that if you liked Pink, you're gay. If you like listening to music, especially the gay bands, you're gay. If you wear certain clothing, you're gay. Everything was gay back then. It was horrifying. It's like guys just didn't care. It was just a homophobic paranoia. And there was a co-worker at Rusty's Pizza in high school who was openly gay. And I was introduced to him by my peer, who said, yeah, he's gay. Okay, so I'm not interested in dating guys. Why would I be interested in knowing that he's gay? Because I secretly liked girls, the female peers, but I could never say it. And so, yeah, then the prom, as I talked about in Sunday Jess video that I did, and the Mormon girls were already taken before I even began to ask. And so, yeah, Cindy Pollard, as she wanted to be called, Cindy. I guess she thought Cynthia was too proper an adult, so she wanted to be a child, Cindy. I don't know. She was an A student. She had a job working at a bookstore, and good girl, and cute. A little kind of thin, but cute. Perfect for a Mormon boy who doesn't want to get involved in a relationship because that's evil to get involved in, and it causes so many problems with inter-religious relationships. My grandfather did it, and then thought that my out of the temple marriage with the first ex was his fault because he had married his Catholic secretary, or receptionist at his dental office, and they got annulled within a year later. And so he felt bad that he set a bad example for the family, because it wasn't a temple wedding, obviously. It was a Catholic one for her, and we had all attended that. It was the Southern California Catholics, which don't have the cathedrals. It's just like an office with chairs set up and such like that. And so, yeah, my parents never saw me with a girl. I never dated girls, was too scared because of Stacy, who was directly across from me there in Corona, as I saw her doing a breast exam, and what she was doing a breast exam on her, well, yeah, she had the door open, so she has a younger brother. What was she thinking? But the window, as it's opened, shines directly into my window. So I had set the desk up, had no clue that I was going to see anything ever from her, and lo and behold, there it was, and I went into shock, and then she saw me through the mirror and turned around, and I panicked and dove to the floor, and then eventually snuck up to pull the curtains closed and moved my desk into a different place facing the complete opposite direction. And yes, that just added to the insecurity and shyness with women. As I was office aide that semester, and one day after that event, I was given a message to give to a teacher, went into the class, and there she was on the front row, and she leans over to her girlfriend, and they're both laughing, and I'm going, oh crap. Give the note to the teacher and run away. And so my parents thought I was gay, and so my dad came into my bedroom one evening after he got home from work. He had obtained the Farrah Fawcett poster. All guys know the Farrah Fawcett poster, I would assume. I don't have access to any of that. I'm stuck at home with the Sears catalog. And see, my mom already blocked it out that she had found that. And so the years later, when my uncle decides to turn gay, they now think I'm gay. Did you not make the connection? Did you scare the heterosexual out of me when you caught me with the Sears catalog fashion? But the church was so homophobic that they thought you could turn gay. That guys turn gay. They could grow up heterosexual, and that the gay agenda was going to turn Mormon boys gay. And that's why in our white Bible for our missions, the order is to sleep in the same room, not in the same bed. Really? You have to tell us this? Apparently so. Because of the homophobia. Oh, dear God. And so, yes, even on my mission, you know, I know I can't marry any of these women. Not while on a mission. They're going to go back to Utah. I'm going to go back to Southern California and then immediately rush to Rick's again. Because I don't want to be around my family. As you can understand why. But yeah, I still observed any and all sister missionaries that happened to be in my district which was rare until I got to Poughkeepsie. And finally I was with, well, nope, take that back. When I got transferred to Brooklyn after 3 months, it was also the same time when the first sister missionaries got to be in the Bronx in Coney Island. And so that justified my companion district leader to call every single night. And the one companion realized he would rather talk to the other companion. So she and he were always talking every night. And they ended up getting married. Good for him. I'm sure he's still happy and has a great family life. When I came home and told Elder Gale, when I found Elder Gale when I moved here to Utah. He was working at the old Walmart that's now gone on State Street. He was the manager there. He asked me, I told him I'm divorced, and he was just crushed. It was like it was his fault, because he was my trainer in the mission. It's the picture of our first mission place residence is in that video with Sunday Jess, right there by the mall. And he was just crushed. He thought he was to blame. And I could see the disappointment in his face that I am now a failure and that he was my missionary trainer, and therefore he had failed me. And so, yeah, that was the last I saw of him. And then I saw Horsley. He had come to that place, that residence, with his companion, and just to watch HBO and the pay-per-view boxing match, the one that lasted for about a minute and a half. They paid the $100 or whatever for it, and they came over that night to watch it, and there was a big hype pre-game show, and then it started, and a minute and a half, boom, over. So, yeah, okay, that's boxing. And how much did it cost again? Yeah, okay. Can you say scam? And, I mean, at least the WWF, well, at E now, I guess, because of the lawsuit by the WWF, World Wildlife Foundation, at least they, even though it's all scripted as to who's going to win and who's going to lose, I mean, at least they put on a full several-hour show. So it's so discouraging on multiple levels that I was denied pursuing my desires and interests, which were based upon my experiences and my attempt to try to self-treat my trauma that I went through. Kind of interesting how I automatically knew how to help myself through the trauma without psychologists asking if I masturbate and feel guilty. Putting me in some box category by which they can judge me, call me mentally ill, have me, my parents, or me, or whatever, pay them for the weekly visits and drug prescriptions. That's why it's sad to hear that Utah women are the highest per capita of those who take depression drugs. It's not medication, it's drugs. And we're not supposed to be taking drugs. But when you have the church that's so abusive to women, I mean, dear God,
It's always troubled me how the church has treated women. As I observe Mormon women when I moved to Utah and was forced into the singles wards, and being denied by the Mormon women as unworthy because I was divorced, and yet still observing from a distance, scared to talk with them. And that was different with Rick's. The first year I went up to Rick's before my mission, it was heaven, literally. I could talk to these women, and they talked back. Not talking back, but talked with in return. So yeah, the Rick's, that 1 year was heaven. Until they learned that I was going on a mission, and all of a sudden they avoided me, stayed away. Said that they were going to go smoke with the smokers up on the temple lot, where the temple is now at. I thought she was my friend, and here she was getting rid of me. And she didn't realize that I actually preferred the little redheaded girl, even though she was shy. And she preferred me. But again, it's because I knew it wouldn't go anywhere because of the mission interference of Mormonism, of the Dear John letters and such. And so I had to sacrifice the little redheaded girl, because of the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show, little redheaded girl, so thus she became the role model image for the personification of Beth. And then, of course, Sorsha came along, and Willow. And that sort of sealed the deal. My moon, sun, my moon, my guiding star, without you I dwell in darkness, and it went away? I guess. And so yeah, I was excited when Melissa was born, as knowing that I'm the one who chose her as the sex. And sure enough, yeah, the second one, I actually wanted a boy that time, and sure enough, it's amazing, 50-50 chance, and I select them. But with Melissa, yeah, I was hoping to have that friend girl through my daughter, because the wife at that time was distancing herself from me now, and failed to live up to the fantasy world I had for marriage, that the two of us would be best friends forever, lovers and friends, eros and agape. So, you know, again, it's the tragic tale of a Mormon boy. But, yeah, that pink Paisley tie really irked me. How could she do that to me? And it's interesting that it's my mother who betrayed me, who causes the friction. As, you know, she was supposed to have been the one to comfort me with Beth, over Beth. And she wasn't there for me. And so I had to take care of myself, create my own therapy to get through the trauma, which was women's fashion design. and nobody wanted me to do it, because you can't do it, you're a boy. How dare you want to improve the lives of women? Go build something or destroy something. That's what real men do. And so then I ended up not knowing what to do with my life, and then found Paleo-Hebrew, became the decipher of Paleo-Hebrew, and then became the decipher of Egyptian petroglyphs, then found out that the Bible came from translations of the Egyptian petroglyphs, that Joseph Smith is a translator of Biblical Hebrew from the King Follett Discourse, and a translator of Egyptian petroglyphs from the Book of Abraham. And the Mormons want me gone, dead, especially the church giving assassination orders to have me gone and dead. All because of the homophobia in the church.